John Ulzheimer is known as one of our nation's most recognized credit experts. Having worked for 28 years in the credit industry, John has become one of the most prolific speakers about credit and the go-to authority on answers to credit-related questions. Credit Countdown with John Ulzheimer.
Hello, my name is John Ulzheimer. I am a consumer credit expert. I've been in the credit industry for almost 30 years now. I spent time at FICO, which is the company behind the FICO credit scoring system, and Equifax, which is one of the 3 generally recognized credit reporting agencies in the United States. Good question today. Who buys credit reports? It might be easier to answer the question who doesn't buy credit reports. There's a lot of parties that buy credit reports. Most of them are not whose, but what type of company buys credit reports. So let's talk through some of them, and I'll give you some examples of when your credit report is likely to be pulled or purchased or procured, whatever word you would like to use. Let's start from the bottom up. So there was a time when credit reports had a cost associated with them, and that cost was largely based on what state you lived in. So some states allowed for the credit reporting agencies to charge a small fee for you to buy your credit report. Other states gave you the right to free credit reports, a limited number of free credit reports before you had to start buying them. Today, with the trajectory of credit products and the pricing of credit products to consumers, credit reports are largely free to consumers, but there still are scenarios where you may find websites that are selling monitoring services or other services that are kind of bundled in with credit reports, and so there may be a fee associated. So you may be one of the who's that buy credit reports. Number 5, and this is, by the way, this is not in any order of importance. This is just the order that I happen to throw them up here. So please don't read anything into the order. Insurance companies. Insurance companies are absolutely allowed per federal law to pull your credit reports and insurance credit scores as part of the insurance underwriting process. And so renter's insurance, homeowner's insurance, auto insurance, your insurance company very likely has a scoring system that they use when they set the pricing for your premiums, and that scoring system is largely going to be based off of your credit reports. So this isn't necessarily a negative, right? I mean, you hear people complain about this, but you don't hear from the people who have really good credit, and so their insurance premiums are actually lower as a result. So this cuts both ways, right? I mean, if your credit reports indicate you're going to be a high-risk insurance customer, you should pay more for your insurance. If your credit reports indicate you're going to be a lower risk insurance customer, you should pay lower premiums. That's risk-based insurance premiums. Employers. So employers are absolutely allowed to access your credit reports as part of the pre-employment and continued employment screening process. There are some rules. You have to give overt written permission for an employer to access your credit report. If they're going to use the credit report against you in the decision, they have to send you what's called a pre-adverse action notice to notify you of such. And if they ultimately deny you a job and your credit report was one of the reasons, then they have to send you something called an adverse action notice to indicate that you were denied the job because of your credit report, and also list some of your rights as it pertains to the use of your credit reports for employment screening. The next one, collection agencies. Debt collectors are absolutely allowed to pull your credit reports. They do not need your permission. You don't have to sign anything. So, that's not an argument. Well, I didn't give them permission. I didn't sign anything. You don't have to. The Fair Credit Reporting Act gives collection agencies the right to pull your credit reports. Why in the world would a collection agency want to pull a credit report? Well, for a couple of reasons. One is skip tracing. So your address, former addresses, contact information is going to be on your credit report. Collection agencies want and need that when they're going after you to get you to pay your debts that you are not paying. Number 2 is to check your capacity. If a collection agency calls you and you owe a $1,000 debt and you tell them, well, I can't afford to pay you, but they can see your credit report and they can see that you've got a credit card with a $20,000 limit and no balance, you can afford to pay them, and they know that. So it's very powerful information for them. And finally, many collection agencies use collection scoring systems, which essentially ranks the likelihood that you'll pay back a debt that you owe to a collection agency. And of course, those are based largely off of credit report information. There's a lot of reasons why collection agencies are going to pull credit reports. Next, utility companies. Utility companies can absolutely pull credit reports, and similar types of companies. So like your cable bill, your internet, things like that. It's not a public utility per se, but it's kind of similar. to a public utility. These companies can pull credit reports to determine whether or not they want to charge you a deposit on your account. If you've got good credit, then you probably will not have to pay a deposit. One that I want to add to the list that it's not in the list is landlords. Landlords and tenant screening companies. And so if you apply for housing, not for a mortgage, but for housing, like with a landlord for a home or a tenant screening company for an apartment complex, they can absolutely pull your credit reports to determine if they want you to pay a deposit or if they want to lease to you at all. And of course, you can be denied housing if your credit is really poor. And obviously, the lenders. Lenders are pulling credit reports for a variety of reasons. Installment lenders, revolving lenders, which is like credit card issuers, home equity line of credit. They're going to pull credit reports in response to your applications for credit, or if you have existing accounts with them, they can pull them as part of the ongoing account maintenance process. And if they want to prospect to you, so if they want to send you pre-approved offers in the mail, they're going to access your credit reports as well. Everything that I just listed up here, 100% legal. All of these are allowed for in the Fair Credit Reporting Act. There are definitely rules in that act that define under what conditions credit reports can be pulled, and everything that I just went through here is entirely legal. So if you have any questions or if you have any other examples of your credit report being pulled that didn't fit neatly into any of these, drop them in the comment section below. I love seeing the comments. I love it. Gives me more ideas for videos. Thank you again for watching. We'll talk again soon. Have a good rest of your day.
For more videos and credit tips from John Ulzheimer, go to www.tradelinesupply.com.